Oh, this spooky season. It was here, and then it was gone in the blink of an eye. Well, I'm just not ready for that yet, and I don't think I can move on, and I just knew that the only way to fix this was to do one more story from a very DC Halloween. Now this one has to deal with Wonder Woman, a character that I really don't know a ton about. I know she's an Amazon, I know she's a big, strong woman, I know she tells the truth, but this story shows me something that I never would have thought would ever happen. Something I'm not sure if she's doing in the secrets of the night, behind Bruce Wayne's back, behind Clark Kent, Barry Allen, all these people, her closest friends. Do they even know? Probably not, because this is some real sinister stuff right here. It has to deal with her basically taking over a young girl's mind and turning her into a ruthless murderer. Now, like I said in the previous DC Halloween, there's a lot of instances where characters are completely flipped on their heads. They do things that they never would have done, but it gives us some very interesting situations, and I thought this was one of the more crazy ones that you could have found in this book. And considering I've never done a Wonder Woman video, I figured why not start here, even though it's completely out of canon, and I'm sure a lot of Wonder Woman fans are going to be mad, but just take it as a fun little Halloween story. This story is called A Man's World, and from the first page we're just seeing this younger girl looking into the shop window, and you see the reflection of Wonder Woman in front of her. And suddenly it cuts back, and we see that she's completely covered in blood. She looks away, she starts walking down this other alleyway, and we're seeing this dead body up against the wall, and she's just kind of looking around to herself when suddenly she murmurs these words, something in the Amazonian language I would have to believe. Parafrasini! And after this we just cut to her sitting with some of her friends in this dark room, all sitting around a Ouija board. Now good things never come from Ouija boards, it seems. I think we've all heard a tale or two where the board just straight up lit on fire or flew away. Me personally, my mother has told me a story where the board actually started to fly around the room until they all ran out. Now whether or not this is true, there's obviously something going on with the Ouija boards, or maybe it's just some very sinister trickster friends that are very good at, lighting things on fire in a very fast way, or frisbee tossing them in such a way that they stay airborne for over 3 minutes long. But as they're all sitting here, they start to begin this little chat. Like it? Got at a garage sale. Creepy guy. Creepy game, right? Supposed to, talk to the dead and people and all. We are not gonna try to contact, who the hell is Jimi Hendrix? My dad said he was this really cool guitarist. And the way these girls are all written, it's very cliche, it's very high school movie, and it's a little aggravating, but eventually we will move past all this, alright? And you won't have to deal with any of this. Now, like I've said before, this book is a slew of not so great writings, along with a few good stories, but for this one here, the artwork is actually very well done, it's very detailed, it's very sleek and clean, and I just enjoyed it a lot. Hey, what about that guy who played the Joker? Heath something. And the fact that they would mention Heath Ledger just seems kind of strange. I'm actually kind of surprised that DC actually allowed this for them to act like they're gonna conjure the dead actor Heath Ledger after what happened with the movie. And just till now, I didn't really think about this. And it's a little bit messed up, don't you think? Just a little bit strange that they would add this into this book. But as they're all just kind of sitting there and chatting and having a good time, we cut back to this young lady just kind of walking around the city, and eventually she heads towards the park. Still completely covered in blood, you kind of just see this twinkle in her eye, and she moves ahead. She's getting closer to this body of water, and she just begins to wash herself. And once again, we are cutting back to these friends. It's about to tell us about the horrific things that have happened among this Ouija board. Okay, then we all agreed. We try to contact one of those, warrior women. What were they called again? Amazons. They used to eat guys' private parts. Now, I'm pretty sure that's not canonical with the Amazonians. I don't think DC would have showed anything like that, but as I'm getting farther and farther into these DC Black Label books, I could be totally wrong. Maybe we can get a recipe. Okay, everyone, put your hands on the pointy thing. Just gentle, and no screwing around. And once again, cutting back to this girl out in the park, she's finally washed herself clean, and you just see this cop rolling up, and he's about to wish that he never would have done that. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Oh my god, is that blood? Okay, easy, just take it easy. Now I'm Officer Martin, Gateway City Police Department. You're going to have to come with me, miss, okay? And this girl looks up, and she gives him the craziest eyes you've ever seen in your life. And she grabs this man by the neck, and she eventually strangles him to death with the powers of the Amazonian. It's clear that these large, tall women have taken her body over and are using it to do non-good things. Things that superheroes wouldn't exactly agree with, and it's only a godsend that she doesn't have the whip of truth to do even more harm. But basically nothing is gonna stop this lady, and she does the job. She kills this cop, and she begins to just drag him down into the woods, and we're cutting back to the friend group. I did not move it! You did so! Why are you on my case? Because you moved it! Those those two should get a room. She totally moved it. And duh, wouldn't the spirit speak Arab or Roman or something like that? And I gotta say, I found it kind of weird that she would think that the spirit would talk Arab or Roman instead of like Latin, the most common demonic language that we've probably seen in any horror movie out there. But as she's making these terrible accusations, Jay, the short-haired girl that we've been watching this entire time, just kind of gives everybody a dead look in the eyes. And she's holding the plashand, the quote-unquote pointy thing that's on the Ouija board, and everybody's getting kind of nervous and telling her that she can let go now. But she just does not seem to want to do this, and she begins to hold it up higher, and she's just kind of looking into the sky. Jay, you okay? Look like you've seen a ghost or something. Oh, bow. Imal magesesa. And that's about the best that I can recant this Amazonian language. But suddenly the mom of whoever's house they're staying at is walking up. She's got a plate full of cookies, and she's just about to check in and make sure everything's alright. I made up some snacks. You girls are just skin and bones, so and suddenly she screams as loud as she possibly can. She opens this door, and there is 3 dead women sitting inside this room, basically torn apart, and the short-haired girl bolts out the window, and you just see her sprinting down the street. Now, the reason why any of this is even happening, it doesn't really make any sense to me, and at the same time, the fact that it's called Man's World also doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like she's only killing guys. Obviously, she's also killing the girls, and there's just not a whole lot explained here, and I just wish it would have just fleshed itself out a little more, like as this is an alternate version of Superwoman, or anything like that. But this is how she made it out to the street covered in blood, and it cuts back to her at the pond after killing this cop, and she is taking his guns, she grabs a baton, she starts hiding in the bushes, and you can kind of tell that she's making her way back to her house. She ends up climbing this tree, and she bursts through her bedroom window, when suddenly somebody's knocking on her door in her room, and it is her dad, and he ends up just kind of bursting in. Now this man is a terrible man, and this man is just not making a good case for himself, and will surely pay the final price. Oh, just check this out. What, little street whores playing dress up? Hey, what the? The window. You busted the window. That's coming out of your hide. You hear me? Need another lesson? That it? Yeah, I'm thinking so. And actually, this is where the book kind of gets a little wonky for me. The speech bubble's actually like half printed, and I don't know if they legitimately like ran out of ink or their printer must have messed up, or if this is an intentional situation, but it's not something I've ever really seen in a speech bubble, so I don't necessarily know what to think about it. But as it's showing their faces collided together, giving themselves the last standoff look, she ends up pulling the gun out, and she unloads a clip into her father. She ends up making her way into the bathroom, and when she looks into the mirror, you are seeing Wonder Woman once again. She gets a little closer, and as they're both staring each other into the eyes, she says, Ton Kashmo Ton, Anvranthopon Kalase. And that is the end of the story. I have no idea what they just said. I don't know if there's any kind of like Amazonian translator or something, but it's just kind of a weird little story. One that just doesn't really make any sense at all. And once again, I don't know why I'm doing these. If anything, this was just kind of a warm-up video before the one I'm about to do next. So I do hope you guys enjoy. I don't want to rag on this very DC Halloween book too much, but there's just so many of these stories that don't explain themselves a lot. And I know that they're short stories, but they could do it just at least better, you know? Maybe Wonder Woman was possessed by Satan. Maybe she had a poltergeist. Maybe this is an alternate dimension where Wonder Womans and Amazonians actually do hate men, and they do perform death by snoo snoo, just like the Futurama episode. You know, anything would be better than this pile of nothing. But either way, I guess it's an interesting, fun read, and I do like having it in my collection. I really enjoy how many different stories that there are in this. They basically touch down on almost every DC character, and some of them get really good treatment, and some of them don't really do anything. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will be back to some different stuff. The new Batman and Spawn is going to be out soon, so I'm going to do something on the older one of Batman and Spawn War Devils pretty soon. That'll probably come out when the new hardcover edition comes out, which I'm super pumped for. But yes, everybody, this has been From the Heart, and I hope you had a good time, and I hope you had a fun Halloween when it was here. And I'd just also like to mention that I have obtained the Hellraiser Holiday Special. Yes, a bunch of stories from Hellraiser wrapped up in a little Christmas bow. And I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But like I said, guys, I hope you had a good time. I hope this was fairly interesting. And I just want to thank you so much all for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe. Talk to me down in the comments. I make it my goal to talk to every one of you. And I just want to say a special thanks to Jerry's Stories, Point Vector, Print is Dead, Miguel. There's so many of you. I need to write down your names, give you a proper thank you. But yes, I will see you all on the next episode. Have yourself a fantastic night.